Number 5, choose the best name for your small business. Your business branding starts with a name when you're pondering on how to start small business in the Philippines. Once you come up with a list potential name for your business, verify if it's trademark or another business already using it. As a small business, you're likely willing to be a little bolder in your choice of name. Example, pick a name that lends itself to word play or syempre para mas makilala yung pangalan ng business mo or maging trademark siya. Next, a strong name should be a simple. Make it easy to spell and pronounce for starter and meaningful for your audience. Next, avoid using puns. A pun in your company name is risky. If you land a good one, it can make your name super sticky, but you don't want one that's overused or too cutesy. Don't be a copycat. Syempre, kailangan maging unique yung name ng business mo. Kasi pag meron ng may-ari nun, syempre, parang sabi na, kopya na lang to. Or parang branch. Parang ganong branch na lang siya, hindi siya original. Pero magkaiba ang branch, ano. Next, number 6, apply for license and a permit. In the Philippines, small capital business owners still need acquired documents to prove that they're running a legitimate enterprise. Kailangan syempre ng barangay clearance, mayor permit, tax, SS, PhilHealth, and so on. Syempre, may pagkakaiba rin sa license saka permit. Ang license are more general, granting permission to do something or use something. For example, a business wanting to sell liquor must get a license. Ang permit naman are usually given for safety issues like health permits and required inspection or before they are granted. A permit carry of a gun, like another example. Number 7, take advantage of social media. You can cut down on your marketing cost by tapping social networks and free website builders such as Wix and Shopify to promote your small business. Next, yan. Ito yung mga example na usually ginagamit for advertise sa mga company or mga nagsisimula pa lang mag-start ng business. Siyempre, ang pinakamataas dyan is Facebook. Marami kasing gumagawa ng mga pages para gumawa ng kanilang another site para makita yung kung anong meron sa business nila. Second, alam ko mataas din ng sa Instagram, lalo na sa YouTube. You can promote your product of your business in YouTube. Next, meron din mga pros and cons ang paggamit ng social media sa mga business. Siyempre, dun muna tayo sa mga pros like the potential for increased sales, yan, karaniwan. The potential for higher ranking in search engines. Direct customer feedback. Siyempre, makita mo yung mga feedback ng mga tao about sa company mo or sa mga product na ginagawa. You can easily conduct markets research about your customer, greater insight into their interests. Yun. Huge network opportunities with customers and other businesses. Easy to build solid relationship due to back and forth interaction. Another, the ability to engage with your customer directly in real time. Next, access to international market. The audience is already there. International, mahalaga yun. Kasi doon nila makilala kung anong meron ka sa business. Setup is free and easy to do. Zero maintenance cost. Siyempre, libre lang paggamit ng social media para ma-advertise yung mga product na meron ka sa business. And then, for the cons, ito, you could spend hours creating content that's gets little to no engagement. Yan, pag hindi masyado nakikita yung mga, yung, kailangan kasi, pag social media, sinishare mo na sinishare sa ibang tao yung mga mo. Kaya pag medyo mahina, yun yung cons ng paggamit ng social media. Yung di masyado na promote. And then, without daily monitoring, you will miss out on opportunities your audience expects speed response. Yun. If you don't spend enough time engaging with your audience, you will lose their loyalty. Yan. Hindi ka nakikipag-usap sa customers. Yun. Mawala ka syempre ng doon. And then, nasan na tayo? Negative feedback displayed for everyone to see. E. Difficult to stand out. Highly competitive. You have to follow their design layout, unlike a website. You have to follow the design layout of the platform you're using. Yan, yan. A lack of control. There are no stopping someone from mentioning, sharing your page in a negative light. Di maiwasan po yan. Kaya, kailangan nagbibigay ka ng mga katutuan ng customer talaga para magustuhan nila yung business mo. Then, it's expensive. Without a social media advertising budget, it's difficult to serve your target audience. Yeah. Next. Website. Importance of website for expanding and growing the business. Having your own website allows you to full control over your brand. It's because it's your you have to complete ownership of it. How it looks and what it say in entirely up to making it the ultimate platform to reflect exact who you are, why are you do what you do, what makes you different, and the value you provide. Siyempre, meron din mga pros and cons sa paggamit ng website. Next sa pros, muna tayo. Pros. It's perfect for referrals. Your existing customer can refer your business to their friends with a single link, given the access to absolutely everything about you. Yeah. It's easy to update. With increased usability on most domain extension, you can now update your own website. You don't have to hire a programmer to do it. Next, it establishes a strong online brand identity. Having your own domain makes you more credible, immediately building trust between your brands and audience. Next, custom email address. Importante yan. Also great for credibility with website, you set up an authentic email address for yourself or your partners and employees. Next, you can email updates to your customer base directly from your website. Another, it's cost-effective considering what you will be getting in returns. A website build is often once off fee and then you'll have home for your brand forever. And next is total control. By having your own website, there are much more options regarding the look, feel, and features. Most domain extension even come with various templates that you can customize to make your own. And superior marketing, reduced operating cost, online site can be visited 24 hours a day yan. Fully trackable and link building. For the cons, unti lang naman. Ayan. Maintaining it. If you have a big website that is rich in content, keeping it maintained can take a lot of time and effort. Increase marketing efforts. No one said it would be easy. You're, you're going to have to work hard to gain increased traffic to your website. You'll need an in-depth digital marketing strategy to do so. Designing and setup. The more complex the functionality and design of your website, the more it will cost to set up. This process could also take quite a bit of time. Next is number 8, be resilient. Resilient. As a beginning entrepreneur trying to mm, propel your business forward, expect several bumps along the way. There will always be setback to deal with, but this should not discourage you. And syempre, bakit importante ang resilience? Hirap kasi. We can usually define resilience as a company capacity to absorb stress, recover critical functionality, and thrives in altered circumstance. Like, halimbawa ngayon, COVID-19 yan, mahirap na. Lalo na sa mga business. Dahil bumaba yung ano nila. Okay, next. The challenge of measuring and managing resilience. Yan. Share, scale, and plan. Ito. Companies have been designed predominantly to maximize shareholder value for dividends and stock appreciation. Very few companies even attempt to measure resilience beyond their disclosing specific material risk. Companies and shareholders often focus on maximizing short-term returns. In contrast, resilience requires a multiple time scale perspective, foregoing a certain amount of efficiency or performance today for the sake of more sustained performance in the future. Syempre, companies have been mainly focused on creating and executing stable plans, which works well when casual relationships are clear, predictable, and unchanging. Resilience deals with what is unknown, changeable, unpredictable, and improbable, and has significant sequences. Next, companies can structure their organization and decision processes for resilience, building resilience enterprises. Yung number 1, redundancy. Buffer system against unexpected shock at expenses of short-term efficiency. It can be created by duplicating elements, such as by having multiple factories that produce the same product, or by having different elements that achieve the same end. Functional redundancy. Diversity. For responses to a new stress, help ensure that systems do not fail catastrophical at the expense of the efficiencies obtainable through standardization in business. This requires not only employ people from different backgrounds and with different cognitive profiles, but also creating an environment that fosters multiple ways of thinking and doing things. Next is modularity. Modularity allows individual elements to fail without the whole system collapsing, while foregoing one the efficiency of tightly integrated organization design. Because a modular organization can be divided into smaller chunks with well-defined interface, it is also more understandable and can be rewired more rapidly during a crisis. Adaptability is the ability to evolve through trial and error. requires a certain level of variance or diversity obtained through natural or plant experimentation in combination with an interactive section mechanism to scale up the ideas that work best. Next is prudence. Involves operating on the precautionary principle that if something could plausibly happen, it eventually will. This called for developing contingency plan and stress test for plausible risk. Next, embeddedness. Embeddedness is the alignment for company goals and activities with those of broader system. Next is the benefits of resilience. First is an anticipation benefit. It's representing the ability to better resist or withstand the initial shock. This can be achieved through better preparation or more agile response. Next is impact benefit. It representing the ability to rebound from the shock more quickly by identifying the adjustment needed to return to the prior operating level and implementing by swiftly and effectively. Next is recovery speed benefit, representing increased fitness for the new post-shock environment. And the final is the outcome benefits. The forecasts produce a significant difference in value as the observed during initial COVID-19 shock. Most sector and companies came down rapidly and synchronously, but during the recovery phase, there are marked divergence in company performance. Next, and the last is for number 5, being a resilience is how to become more resilient company. Number 1, seek advantage in adversity. Don't merely endeavor to mitigate risk or damage or restore what was. Next is look forward. In short run, a crisis may appear tactical and operational, but on longer time scale new needs and the incapacitation of competitors create opportunities. Next is take collaborative system view. In stable times, business can be tough off as performance maximization with a given business model in a given context. Next is measured beyond performance. The health of a business is not captured only by measure of value extract, which tend to be backward looking. Measuring flexibility, adaptation, and other components of resilience is critical to building sustainable businesses. Next is price diversity. Resilience depends on being able to generate alternative ways of reacting to situations, which in turn depends on the ability to see things with fresh eyes. And next is change as default. Ito, example, Alibaba founder Jack Ma sees change, not as stability as the default. Resilience is less about occasional adjustments under extreme circumstances and more about building organization and supporting system predicted on constant change and experimentation. This is partly to avoid rigidity and part because interactive incremental adjustment is far less risky than a massive one-shot adjustment. And that's all for my parts. Sorry for my thank you.